Hey everybody, it's Jochen Heiden, and I'm back with the Lodrik versus Heiden campaign. This is scenario 1 with no mods, the 20th of March 1942, turn 104. And before anybody asks, none of these troops in the picture are dead, they're just sleeping, because they're tired like I am. Alright, let's keep this Lodrik campaign going. March 20th, 1942. Okay, he grabs a little dot base north of Darwin. That's pretty inconsequential. Keep my fingers crossed so we don't have another desync again. I'm getting tired of those. Okay, pretty things are moving pretty quick here. No night bombing, no naval activity, at least at night. Always on edge here, waiting for something bad to happen. So far, it's pretty quiet. Okay, we've got some daylight. Coast Watchers reporting some stuff here. Blowing right through this. What's going on here? Wow, we're already in the air phase. So it does not appear that we're going to have any combat here, like naval combat. All right, so this is very expected. He's using his bombers against my troops retreating out of Henyang. The losses are, I could absorb these, but the slowing of the unit is what's gonna hurt me. All right, so now I'm being very careful not to use the escape key to fast forward. I'm using the Z key to fast forward through these animations here. And I'm not using escape because I've been told that excessive use of the escape key could theoretically cause a desync. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's as good of a reason as any. And I am a prolific user of the escape key, so maybe that's what's been causing this. Okay, a bunch of ants are bombing my troops, leaving Changsha. That was a very fast AM phase. Okay, we're going into the PM phase now. Oh, oh hey, we hit something. Okay, we got some more bombers coming in. If we follow this red line, it does appear they're coming from Canton. And these guys are trying to slow down the main vanguard here. We have a little more success. We shoot down an aircraft, and the casualties are light. Heavy rain helping us out. Ah, another flight from Canton. He's just trying to slow us down. Wow, that was the fastest air phase ever. Where's Lodrik at? Hmm. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought this was something else. Alright, this is very, very okay. It's all his armor that he's using to get up the road here. He is trying desperately to get the Chikyong and cut us off. Okay, these guys fold up like a suitcase. Alright. Not the end of the world. I'm honestly glad that they did just die and not retreat, because if he had had any set of pursuit, we would have he could have followed us into the hex. So I'm okay with this. A shock attack, man. I don't know how he's going so much faster than we are. Well, this is gonna be a blowout. Dang it. I wish my troops could move as fast as his, but when he gets to bomb me constantly, it just slows me down. So, wow, whoa. Well, I mean, yeah, it wasn't good, but not good for us. But man, he took some good losses there. It's that shock attack, man. All right, it is what it is, right? Okay, we got a bombardment north of Sion. Man, those losses are heavy. Ugh. What is he hitting me with? Heavy artillery. Heavy artillery. Man, we're taking a lot of losses there. We're taking more than we're getting every day. I know that. Oh, hey, that's us. Yeah. Hey, we got to win. Nice. Check that out. We actually destroyed a unit. Nice. Man, it's not often that we get to experience a victory like this on the ground. More often than not, it's us getting destroyed. So we just took out a Royal Thai Army Cavalry Division, at least a third of one. Basically took 0 losses doing it. These RTA divisions are so bad. But yeah, so we wiped that out and captured Uttaradit. So now we have nice clean lines here in Thailand. I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. I mean, this term was pretty quiet, but it wasn't too bad for us, all said and done. We actually got a little bit of a win there in Thailand, which is where I'm trying to be strong. I can deal with this turn. No ships got sunk, no heavy aircraft losses, no complete utter destruction on the ground. Not too bad. Okay, getting some reinforcements and transfers, things like that. Hmm. I've had way worse than this. Okay, let's talk about this turn. Uh, it was nice to have a little bit of breathing room for once. It's been a while. Okay, we'll start with aircraft losses for the turn. It's 1-1. We lose 1 Buffalo, and he loses 1 Lily. No big deal there. Oops, wrong button. Top pilots. Unfortunately, that 1 aircraft we lost did result in a wounded pilot. Hopefully, we can figure out who that was and get him back. Looking at pilot replacements and wounded pilots, we'll take a look at what we got here. So, I'm guessing Ensign Gallagher was our pilot that was wounded here. He is coming back. And then we're going to send Alshorn and Langdon. So Langdon and Alshorn. Let's see if we get these guys back. So we're looking at wounded pilots here. Let's see. Langdon and Alshorn. They're Australian. Langdon's coming back for sure. Okay. Who else? Alshorn. Getting him back too. Awesome. And he's got a kill. And that's a good pilot. Look at that. So overall, not bad. Getting some pilots back, but we do need to start cleaning up this list here because I've pretty much done waiting on these guys to come back. We've been watching this Tanner B guy for well over a month, and I'm pretty sure if they're in the reserve and they don't have a return date, they're never coming back. So I'm going to start cleaning up this list because I'm tired of seeing it. I don't think there's any point in waiting on it anymore. Okay, looking at the Army lost points for the turn, we suffered 22 points lost here to the Japanese 9. We had some blowouts in China, obviously, but you know the Japanese did too in Burma, so it's not entirely one-sided here. Ship sunk last turn, nothing reported. For the turn, the Japanese gained 103 points, which brings the ratio up to 1.838. He's still continuing to trend upwards. 100 points is no joke. So, Lodrik is, if the campaign ended today, the Japanese would be looking at a major victory. But it's not over yet, so Lodrik still got quite a ways to go. And if he's looking to get an auto victory, he needs to kick this thing in a triple overdrive because it's not going to happen right now. He needs a 4-to-1 ratio, and he's at 1.84 to 1 with only about 8 months to go. I don't think he's going to do it. I think we can hang in there. All right, so I looked at the combat report, and I didn't see anything really noteworthy that we didn't already see. I see no evidence of a desync this turn, so that's always good news, right? Looking at SIGINT, we do have a few things to discuss. So the first thing I noticed was this reference here. 38th Division is loaded on a Japanese AK moving to Langsa. Now, Langsa is right here. It's adjacent to Georgetown. So, if he is planning an invasion of somewhere in the Bay of Bengal, I think he's staging his ships both at Langsa and Georgetown. Because that kind of makes sense. They're kind of on the same line of hexes, right? So, he's just marshaling the ships there, and he may send them out in 1 to 2 different waves. I don't know. And then looking at the SIGINT some more, we see a second mention of a 2nd Division now loaded on another AK at Langsa. Don't know what that means, guys, but I think he's coming. And then the last mention in here that was noteworthy was AA units moving to Bangkok, because he knows that I've been eyeing Bangkok for a while, and I think he's trying to get ahead of that and trying to get troops in there. I totally get why. It's pretty obvious what we're trying to do here, right? All right, so I went to the ops report, and I didn't see anything of any real value in here that we didn't already know. So I don't think there's much really to discuss here. The reinforcements were nothing remarkable. Yeah, there's just nothing really in here worth me taking a long time to discuss about it. So let's just get right into talking about what happened this turn. So in China, we suffered another bombardment attack up here in north of Xi'an, and if you look at this, it's really starting to cause some issues for me because we're taking a lot of casualties every turn due to these bombardments. He's got some heavy artillery units in here, and I have nothing to answer it, so it's just getting to be a bit of a problem for me. I don't know how long I can keep taking those losses, so I need to find a way to resolve this situation, and soon, because it's getting a bit obnoxious. I don't really know what I can do, but I gotta do something. Now, in the central part of China here, we are still in full retreat all over the place. We're retreating from Changsha, Henyang, Chengtai. Now, the Japanese armored spearhead here destroyed the unit that was in his hex, but honestly, like I mentioned in the replay, that's a good thing, because if he had one of these guys set to pursuit and our guys retreated into here, he could have potentially followed us into the hex. And that's no good. We're not ready yet. So now it's going to take him at least one full turn before he's ready to cross into here. He looks like he's going for it. If you see the little arrow in the top left corner of the box. So when he crosses this, it's going to be a shock attack. And I hope he's ready for that. Yeah, it's a lot of armor, right? But he's still going into a ×3 hex with fortifications of 3. And AV level now at 383, right? So multiply that by 3. And on top of that, this unit will be in the hex next turn, unless something crazy happens, and that's going to add another 256. And we have this unit that will be in the hex hopefully next turn, and that adds another 40. So We're looking at about 6 to 700 AV in this hex, and no matter what, even with armor, if he shock attacks across this river with that kind of troop level there, he's gonna get hurt bad. I don't know if he knows what he's getting into, so we'll have to wait and see what he does here. In the meantime, though, I do think we have the situation somewhat under control. This is the only real unit that poses a threat to us. The rest of these guys can get into position before he can, and I think we can stop him here and here. I think we can hold him at these two hexes, at least on the north part up here. We'll see how it goes. In Burma, situation's a little bit better. We completely eradicated the Royal Thai Army unit at Uttaradit, and that's great. So now we have a nice clean line from Rangoon all the way through here, and the Burma Road is well in hand and secure. So it's kind of cool having a little bit of a toehold in Thailand right now. I don't think we're prepared to go all the way into Bangkok, not with all the troops and stuff he's got there, but we can definitely hold this line for a bit, and we're just kind of threatening his flank, right? It's something he has to worry about now. If he wants to make sure that he holds Thailand, he may have to divert force from China. He may want to take some of these troops that are over here and bring them into Bangkok. I don't really know what he wants to do, but he has to worry about this now. So that's why I'm applying this pressure. We're not going to go too hard and too deep, right? Because that doesn't sound good. We're not going to press too much in Thailand, because I don't have the troops to do it. But I want Lodrik to be concerned about it. And he's really given up a lot of ground here. So much so that we're about to take Tavoy next turn. And this is not a bad base at all. It's already got a capacity of 4. We're going to be into this... basically, next turn we'll be into Tavoy. And I can start moving aircraft into here and build a bit of a front line of aircraft. And we can start doing sweeps into Bangkok and reduce his fighter levels here. I don't think he's realized that or really appreciated the situation. Or I'm walking into a huge trap and I'm going to get blasted. But that's what we're planning to do right now. And I don't see why we can't push all the way down to Mergui and just hold, right? The terrain at Tavoy is jungle rough. That's easy to defend. Mergui's a little bit harder, but it's not impossible to defend it. So I think Lodrik really screwed up by giving us this much land. He didn't put up any resistance whatsoever. So again, either he really underestimated me here, or I'm walking into a huge trap. I'll let you guys be the judge. So looking over here, I can safely report now that my carriers are back into Colombo and they're safe and sound. So I did send them out in an attempt to save the R's, but the submarines got to them before his carrier task force did. So I'm going to leave these guys in port, and I've got all the aircraft disbanded and back to training and flying cap and all that other stuff. So we have more than enough aircraft to protect Ceylon from even the heaviest attack that Lodrik can bring to us right now. So if he's planning to invade Ceylon, he can probably come in at one of these other bases, you know, maybe Trincomalee, Kogala or something like that. But if he tries to land in Colombo, it's not going to go well for him. We have enough troops here. We have enough aircraft. We have enough ships to defend it. So even if I do have carriers stuck in port right now, I don't think Colombo's in fear of falling. So down here in the Strait of Malacca, we do know he's marshalling ships at Langsaw and Georgetown, and a lot of troops. We have a lot of Japanese troops on ships. Now, logically, you would think he'd be heading into the Bay of Bengal to invade somewhere. Remember, the Japanese amphibious bonus ends on April 1st. So he's got basically 10 days to make something happen with those troops before he starts taking penalties and loading them all. So I would think he's going to go north, but I don't have any proof of it. To me, if he was going to go to Australia with these troops, it's too late, because I don't think he can get these ships down to Australia within the next 9 days safely and get landed somewhere. Over here in the Dutch East Indies, it's quiet for now. Nothing really going on. The only thing we have sighted is this task force here, moving northwest. which would be this direction. So I do believe these are ships that were coming out of Darwin that landed the invasion forces. They're heading back now. They're just out of range. Nothing I can do about intercepting them at this point. This will probably be one of the last turns I talk about the Philippines and what we're doing here, because there's not much left to do, right? We have Cebu and Bebe and Tacloban. We have these troops here that are out of supply, moving to take a Dajin gas, but I feel like they're going to run into a bunch of Japanese troops when I get there. So there's not really much I can do about these guys. They're just dead men walking, all of them. So looking in northern Australia right now, our troops did get out in front of the Japanese troops. We will get into Catherine well before he does, and we'll have enough turns to make a decision when it's time to pull the plug on all the troops here as we continue to retreat south. We are potentially giving up Broome, Derby, Nukenba, and Wyndham, Catherine, and Daily Waters. I'm prepared to surrender all these bases to Lodrik if necessary, because I just don't have the troops to defend them. But I do believe we can start establishing a line of defense at Tennant Creek, Cloncurry, and Normanton. I've got troops moving to these locations right now to secure them. And I also have troops coming up the road to Alice Springs. And from there, we're going to walk to Tennant Creek and start building up this base and get it ready. I do want to hold them here, here, and here. And I think we can. Unless he sends all those troops that we see in the Strait of Malacca down to here, I think we have a fair good chance of keeping him bottled up in the northern part. So moving all the way over to the Tasman Sea in the South Pacific, New Zealand's been pretty quiet for a while. We do have this carrier task force sighted here. It was the one that was bombing Lord Howe a few days ago. It appears to be heading back to Fiji to do, I don't know what. All right. On Fiji itself, we just see some assorted ships and things moving around. He's grabbed all these bases, and he'll probably grab a couple more of these, possibly these. Clean up the Tonga Islands as well. Now, this is something I think is pretty interesting. Near the Samoa Islands, we see another carrier task force that's built very similar to this one. Okay. So this looks to be, to me, like one fleet carrier and one escort carrier or a light carrier in each one. So I do believe we have possibly the Hiryu and a Soryu operating here. That's my guess. And whatever light carriers he's still got. Now, I don't know where he's going. He's been trending to the northeast for a while now. But the only thing we have out here, which is quite distant, is these guys that escaped Pago Pago about 4 days ago. And I think we have enough of a head start on him that he won't catch up. And if he does, he'll just scatter the convoy and turn it into a bunch of single ships and make him pay for him that way. But he's going to be well within sighting range for the entirety of his journey if he continues to head to the northeast, right? We'll keep him spotted from Canton, Pago Pago, and then Palmyra will pick him up as well. So I don't really know what his end goal is here, but I don't think he's going to catch up to these guys in time, because we're moving at 6 hexes a turn and he's moving at 8 unless he wants to burn a lot of fuel. And I'll get these guys back to Pearl and go from there. So I don't really know what else his plans are, how much more he wants to expand. But he's got to be getting to the end of his rope. He's so far south. His supply lines have got to be stretched to the max, right? From Rabaul and Truk, that's what's bringing the supply all the way to Fiji. And he's got a finite amount of this. I don't know how much further he can possibly go. So he's got to be running out of steam. And I think one way we can kind of tell that is looking at the sorties flown. So if you look at aircraft losses, right, we're outflying Lodrik almost 2-1 for a while now. So we're putting up more sorties than the Japanese are. And the reason that I believe that to be the case is that the Japanese don't have the supply to fly the sorties, because it costs supply to fly combat sorties and all that other stuff. And if you don't have supply, you got to cut back on your sorties or you're going to keep burning it up. That's why we're seeing a lot less bomber activity in China right now. I don't think he's got the supply to do it. So I'm kind of using this as a yardstick, as a metric to gauge how Lodrik's supply situation is, because up until recently, he was flying more sorties than we were, and rightfully so. They had more aircraft to start. And I have not gained that many aircraft this campaign yet. I really haven't seen that many aircraft gains. So he should still be out producing me and putting in more aircraft than I am. So I think he's running out of supply. And his offensive should be running out of supply too. Let's see. Is there anything else I can talk about before I end this turn? We talked about these carriers here. Now we can talk about the Solomon's area. It's dead as a doornail. I don't know what he's doing. He's got some ships moving around here a little bit. Look, I think we have a patrol boat spotted at Rabaul. But we just don't see anything. He's made no attempt to capture any of Papua New Guinea, which makes no sense to me. Like, he gave us Port Moresby, and he'll never take it now. Look what we got here. 900 AV and climbing every turn. There's no way he'll ever take this base. We have 8,000 infantry, hundreds of tanks, lots of guns. We're still working up on the fort level. Well, we're not building forts yet, but we will soon. But I'm trying to get the airfield capacity up to size 8 so we can operate more aircraft out of Port Moresby and really start sticking it to them in Rabaul with bombing. These are the heavy bombers I currently have in place. I just converted a bunch of B-17Ds to E's, and that's going to free up more B-17Ds for squadrons that still operate the Ds. So that's a good thing, right? And I do want to resume bombing Rabaul soon because I know he's got stuff here and I want to try to catch it. But he gave it to us and I don't know why. Right. Doesn't it make more sense to go for Port Moresby than to go all the way down to Fiji? The logic escapes me because the supply and logistical chain that he's going to have to maintain to do that is so long and subject to being raided. It just doesn't really make sense to do it. But hey, I'm not Lodrik. He has a plan and I don't know what it is. Yeah, I guess we could take a look at ADAC. I haven't been up here in a while, and I think I'll probably end this video after that. ADAC here is still building up its stuff, right? We're maxed out on the natural normal size of the bases, so I'm going to keep these going. A port size 8 will be great for helping me repair ships that are damaged. And this is going to be a great staging base for future offensive into maybe northern Japan, the Kuril Islands, Sakhalin. Who knows? If I ever want to go there, we already got a pretty decent amount of troops here, right? We got, look at all these guys. 2 full regiments, right? Some coastal arty, or AA rather. Lots of engineers and lots of naval support. So I'm going to keep bringing stuff into here just to have it, just in case I decide to ever want to do something with it. So ADAC's looking good, and it's also our sub base, right? We got all these guys here. Start getting these guys repaired and get them ready for the next operation. Actually, we don't want that guy on pier side. Yeah, but there you go. Got a bunch of subs just getting ready to go back out. So yeah, there you go. That's the turn. I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit better for this turn because we didn't get our butt absolutely handed to us. Like, we've had some setbacks in China, but I'm expecting those. Like, everywhere that he's doing well, it makes sense to me that he should. But we got front lines forming up here. We're gonna have stuff formed up down here. Quite honestly, I think we can probably even stop running in a little bit, and we'll probably stop our advance right here in this hex. Maybe even in this hex. No, we'll move here. Why not? But we should be able to stop any Japanese advances in this ×3 terrain. And we're going to have at least, what, 400, 2,000. So 2,200 there. Another, oh, geez. Almost 4,000 AV down here. And on ×3 terrain, we could stop an attack of up to 12,000 AV from the Japanese. More or less okay. And so supply situations in these non-base hexes is actually easier to keep these guys supplied if you can comprehend that. But I think we might. So I see our front lines being drawn right now. We've got here and possibly here. that we can stop the Japanese. And we have a guard force down here in case he comes up through this way. One little hole in my game that I'm seeing right now is nothing really guarding down here. Like, he could be coming through this road right now and I wouldn't even see it. So I think I may want to send a single unit down here and post up in this hex just to make sure we have a tripwire in case he elects to continue pushing north towards Luchao. Because I need a heads up right about here before he flanks us here and gets up around us. So I've identified it, and I'll start looking for a unit that I can send down here just to keep us in the loop in case he tries to advance up this way. All right, I'm done talking now. I hope you enjoyed this turn. It maybe not have been the most exciting one, but I like it because it gave me a chance to breathe. And I need it because I've had nothing but absolutely crappy turns for the last 2 weeks of in-game time. And we've suffered a lot of losses and a lot of setbacks and a lot of mistakes. So I didn't see too many of those this turn. And I'm hoping this is the point where we start to see the Japanese run out of steam in this campaign. And so we can figure out how to push back. Catch you guys in the next one.